Hello everyone, welcome again in today's my class. In today's class and in this video, today we will proceed our history chapter 2, that is socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution with next topic. And in today's video, we discuss behalf of in this chapter topic about what changed after October. Okay, so let's start this video with this topic. So what changed after October? So effects are most industry and banks were nationalized in November 1917. Land was declared social property and peasants were allowed to seize the land of the nobility. Use of old aristocratic, aristocratic title was banned. New uniforms were designed for the army and officers. Russia became a one party state. Trade unions were kept under party control. A process of centralized planning was introduced. This led to economic growth. Industrial industrial production increased and an extended schooling system developed. Col- collectiviz- collectivization collectivization of farms started. Okay, so what changed after October? So effects are industry and banks were nationalized in November 1917, which meant that the government took over ownership and management. Land was declared as social property and peasants were allowed to seize the land of the nobility. The Bolshevik Party was renamed the Russian Communist Party. Okay, so I repeat again, the Bolshevik Party was renamed the Russian Communist Party. Elections were conducted in November 1917 to the Constituent Assembly, but they failed in majority. In January 1918, the assembly rejected Bolshevik measures and Lenin dismissed the assembly. Despite opposition, in March 1918, the Bolshevik made peace with Germany at Brest-Litovsk. The Bolsheviks participated in the elections to the All-Russian Congress of Soviets, which became the parliament of the country. Russia became a one-party state. After October 1917, this led to experiments in the arts and architecture, but many became disillusioned because of the censorship of the party encouraged. Okay, next we will proceed. Topic about the Civil War. When the Bolshevik ordered land redistribution, the Russian army began to break up. Non-Bolshevik socialists, liberals, and supporters of autocracy condemn, 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 sorry, condemn, condemned the Bolshevik uprising. They formed their troops and were called Greens, which would fight against Bolshevik Red. The pro-Tsar controlled most of the Russian Empire. They were supported by French, American, British, and Japanese troops. All these fought a war with the Bolsheviks. So, if I say all this content summarize, so the about summary of the civil war is the Russian army broke up and their leaders moved to South Russia and organized troops to fight the Bolsheviks, means the Reds. Okay, so during 1918 and 1919, the Russian Empire was controlled by the Greens. Greens means socialist revolutionaries, and Whites means pro Tsarist, backed by French, Americans, British, and Japanese troops. These troops and the Bolshevik fought a civil war. By January 1920, the Bolsheviks controlled most of the former Russian Empire. In the name of defending socialism, Bolshevik colonists brutally massacred local nationalists. Most non-Russian nationalists were given political autonomy in the Soviet Union, short name is USSR. The state the Bolshevik created from the Russian Empire in December 1922. I hope you all understood this topic, the Civil War. Next, we will proceed making a socialist society. So the Bolshevik kept industries and bank nationalized during the Civil War. A process of centralized planning was introduced. Rapid construction and industrialization started. An extended schooling system developed. So about this topic, making a socialist society, explanation is during the Civil War, industries and banks kept nationalized. Peasants were permitted to cultivate the land. Centralized planning process was introduced. Officials worked on how the economy will work and set targets for a 5-year period. During the first two plans, the government fixed all prices to promote industrial growth. In time period was 1927 to 1932 and 1933 to 1938. So centralized planning led to economic growth, but rapid construction led to poor working conditions. Schooling system developed and arrangements were made for factory workers and peasants to enter universities. For women workers, crèches were established in factories for the children. Cheap public health care was provided. Model living quarters were set up for workers. I hope you all understood this topic. Next, we will proceed Stalin and collective farming. So, Stalin believed that rich peasants and traders stocked supplies to create shortage of grains. Hence, collectivization was the need for our. This system would also help to modernize farms. Those farmers who resisted collectivization were punished, deported, or exiled. So, Stalinism, Stalinism and collectivization explanation is the period of the early planned economy led to disaster of the collectivization of agriculture. By 1927 to 1928, the towns in Soviet Russia faced an acute problem of grain supplies. Stalin introduced firm firm emergency measures in 1928. Party members toured the producing areas, supervising enforced grain collections and riding kulaks, the name for well-to-do peasants. Kulaks means the name for well-to-do peasants. After 1917, land had been given over to peasants. From 1929, From 1929, the party forced all peasants to cultivate in collective farms. Peasants worked on the land and the kolkhoz profit was shared between 1929 and 1931. The number of cattle fell by one third. The government of Stalin allowed some independent cultivation but treated such cultivators unsympathetically. In spite of cultivation, production did not increase immediately, and due to bad harvests of 1930 to 1933, over 4 million people died. Throughout the country, accusations were made, and by 1939, over 2 million were in prisons or laborers' camps. Okay, next, our history chapter 2. Next part of this chapter is global influence of the Russian Revolution and the USSR. Uh, I explain. I will explain. So, about this topic, by the 1950s, it was recognized in the country and outside that everything was not in keeping with the ideals of the Russian Revolution, though its industries and agriculture had developed, and the poor were being fed. The essential freedom to its citizens was being denied. However, it was recognized that social ideals still enjoyed respect among the Russians, but in each country the ideas of socialism were rethought in a variety of different ways. So, the global influence of the Russian Revolution and the USSR explanation of this topic is in many countries communist parties were formed like the Communist Party of Great Britain. Non-Russians from outside the USSR participated in the Conference of the Peoples of the East in 1920. Okay, so the Bolshevik founded uh, Comintern means an international union of pro-Bolshevik socialist parties. So the Bolshevik founded Comintern. So before the outbreak of the Second World War, the USSR had given socialism a global face and world stature. Um, the USSR became a great power and its industries and agriculture had developed and the poor were being fed. By the end of the 20th century, the international reputation of the USSR as a socialist country had declined. So, with this topic, your chapter 2 of history, socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution, is complete. I hope all your doubts are cleared. You have understood all the contents of this chapter very well. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.